here we are. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Okay, there's... OBS is being wonky. YouTube's being wonky. What the hell? Everything's being wonky. Party's being wonky. Welcome, everyone, to the world of Cairne once more.
Good evening, everyone.
I was waiting. Well, we have a couple stragglers. I think one that will not be joining us due to a stomach bug. But we are here. I guess I'll take this time, if I can spell. We'll go ahead and get these sponsors out of the way real quick. Start with Found Familiar Coffee, the gamer's choice of caffeinated beverage. You do not want to miss this. Make sure you do check out the website. You can follow the link there in the chat. Make sure you use code Featherfall to get a 10% discount at checkout. And it is the Christmas season, so of course, with all of these sponsors, feel free to purchase anything you like from these and other places and send them to us. And of course, let's not forget our other sponsor, Skull Splitter Dice. Some of the best made dice in the world. I was actually told this by Jim Morrison himself in person. Don't question it, it's true.
Checks out.
You definitely don't want to miss these. Once again, they are fantastic, excellent gifts, by the way. Once again, for the Christmas season, it's not too late, I believe, to get a rush order in. Make sure you follow the link in chat and use code Featherfall at checkout once again to get a belligerently delicious 10% discount on checkout. And that said, welcome, my lovely players, you guys that are here, and those who will be joining us. Once again, to the world of Cairne. I have been very busy touching things up, adding things to this, and of course the source material as we strive on through towards our internal goals here with the world of Cairne becoming its own thing, its own setting. I'm very excited. How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in there, you know, man. We're just kind of getting by day to day, preparing for holiday things. Last minute shopping, the usual.
'Tis the season.
Make a collection of treats to give people.
Treats are good. Can't go wrong with treats.
Treats are good. I'm going with a cocoa dusted Kahlua truffles.
Oh, that does sound very good.
Yes.
I like cocoa and I like Kahlua. I like them together.
They do go well together.
In fact, there's an old signature drink I used to make when I was bartending. I called it the Chocolate Bomber.
Ooh.
And it was Godiva chocolate liqueur, Kahlua, splash of vodka, and a maraschino cherry.
That sounds good. It sounds like exactly 2 of those would be really good.
Yeah, you don't want to get too many, unless you want to get sick. So, gosh. Anybody have a pre-planned recap or anything?
No, I don't have anything pre-planned. I think I can improv, though.
Be my guest. You have the floor.
All right. In our previous session, we at last ventured down into the depths. We have descended from Blightcap into Underhome proper. We had a mite of trouble, just a smidge of trouble with the Dwarven TSA. They're not checking your sneakers here. They're mostly concerned about magic items. Unfortunately, we have a lot of those. But a little bit of prevarication, rousing historical recounting from our newest friend. and we slipped past. We got through. We avoided too many questions. In Underhome itself, we, strolled around. We saw the throne room and said, that guy looks kind of important. Let's poke around elsewhere. And then we poked around elsewhere, and everybody here is very rude. Which is to say, we're a bunch of ignoramuses, and we've just kind of walked into the middle of an ongoing 2-century military operation. So, we returned to the throne room. Uki went to the front with the letter of introduction, and, there was a little bit of back and forth. We did not speak to the big man himself. We instead spoke to his adjutant. Church, can you remind me his adjutant's name?
Was it Reginald Arnbar?
It was Reginald. There we go. So instead of Low Commander Jules Argalest, we spoke to Reginald Ironbore, and he communicated for his boss that we have been given leave to proceed, but we have not exactly been given approval, and he will be damned if we are given support. So, the venture that we are on appears to be a bit of a point of contention between Argalest and good old Jorgen.
They were grumpy.
They're both grumpy guys. They grump at each other occasionally.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, perfectly normal. But we have been given general directions, like sort of head in a northeastern sort of way, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Through Underhome, through the vast and desolate and completely black caverns here beneath the world. And so we did. We went back out of the city, we worked our way around, and now we are traveling through the darkness.
Yeah, I think they thought you were insane for wanting to go where you're wanting to go.
We are insane for going where we go and doing what we do. We don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Our motivations are truly a mystery to everyone.
As they are.
We've gone a little bit through the darkness. We have arrived at a vast and confounding archway called the Choke.
The Choke.
We are being shadowed by a variety of blight creatures that seem to be staying out of our range of visible light. And that's where we left off.
That's right. I went ahead and put the Choke up there for everybody.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. How grand.
The Choke. Which is a remarkably defensible point by the look of it. Not that you guys, I think, were thinking that as you pulled up on it. So yeah, we did leave off at the edge of your lights. Everyone, of course, now having phosphor stones at least.
Yes.
But at the edge of your lights, you could see the dancing around of the shadowy shapes of some horrific and familiar potential foes. The Blightborn.
The what now?
The Blightborn. Here. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I think, here, I'll show it to you. Bum, bum, bum.
Hey, aren't they great?
Oh.
The Blightborn.
He looks happy.
They're a little amorphous. Their shapes are whatever they kind of want them to be. Nothing that would fool you into thinking this is a normal human being on any level. Not to mention their behavior would never ever even come close to convincing anything that they were human. They give off an aura of horror. But they are dancing around right at the edge of the lights. They're not attacking, but you can kind of hear them mumbling and whispering hungrily from the shadows beyond the Choke.
Yeah.
But that is where
We've encountered one or two of these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have a few nasty little quirks to them. which nobody's stumbled into completely yet.
Yes. For example, this is the first time we've seen any indication that they will avoid the light entirely.
This is true.
But I'm still very pleased to see it.
So,
should we proceed?
it is entirely up to you guys. I know Snax is with us, but she's still wrapping up some wrap-up. So she should be back any moment. Looks like Simon is stuck at a friend's house due to the weather. And of course, Wilhelm is out with the bug. And Genesis is at the vet.
Yes, so Snax and Genesis, or Uki and Genesis, we will have soon.
Yeah,
Well, eventually.
Yes.
Uki very soon. Well, more likely than not.
So yeah, I will leave that decision up to you guys entirely. If you want to hold off, we can chit chat about future plans in the meantime or whatever. I don't mind. Up to you.
Since Snax is so close to arriving, we might take a moment to discuss the development of the Cairne system.
Sure. I'm always down for that. I know I had kind of given you guys free run to... You had an idea.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's coming along. We've been working on the mechanical backstop for the systems. The way we decided to go for it is to build out an example character sheet.
That's a good way.
And then just do the prototyping for the systems that are, visibly on the sheet.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Master Miss.
We got a Genesis.
What a pleasant surprise.
Welcome. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, we're still here.
Oh, you're still at the
no.
vet?
Yup.
Uh-oh.
Say hi.
Oh,
My deepest sympathies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
We also got to sit at the vet for quite a while recently.
This is my second round.
Ouch.
Eek.
Well, I hope
Are the
everything's
pups
okay.
doing all right?
Oh, yeah, they'll be fine.
Oh, good.
They'll be fine. They're a little stinky, but they'll be all right. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's normal, though, right?
She will not let me put her down.
Oh.
You won't let me put you down at all, will you? No.
So,
Yeah.
the prototyping is not done yet. It might be ready by the next Cairne session. In fact, no, we're skipping the winter one, right? It doesn't line up right?
Sigil is the one we're skipping.
Oh, okay, yeah, Sigil comes down. Well, the next Cairn would also be New Year's Eve, though.
Oh, true.
Well, I mean, it's understandable. I usually don't do anything special for New Year's Eve. I don't have any plans anyway, so...
A friend of ours does a party every year. We're probably going to be at that.
Oh, yeah, go do the party. Really, go do the party. No, that's no problem.
Okay, then it'll definitely be ready by the next time we meet for Cairn. But so far, just to give you the high points, we have got some prototype systems down for the stats as you presented them.
Okay.
We wound up doing something a little different with luck because it didn't exactly mesh with the other stats.
Okay.
But they're all there. And we came up with a sort of, a point allotment system for character creation to put things into the stats so we can get some play testing done.
Good.
We started getting the skill check system working. And the way we've done that so far is it is dice pools count successes, and your level of skill modifies how many dice you get to roll. Sort of a classic method.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
To handle some of the multiple sources of bonuses, we were playing around with a way of writing down your skills that makes it clear, you get 4 dice from this base stat, you get 3 more dice from your skill level, and then you get these extra dice from like, oh, you've got a magic item, oh, you've got a racial bonus, whatever. But in the end, you just build a big pile of d6s and roll them.
Oh, nice. D6s are always fun too.
It's a classic. They make such a lovely sound.
Yeah, and we can't get in trouble for using them.
Yeah, and they're very commonly available, so it's also makes the system accessible.
Yes. No, I like that. I like that.
Got that working so far. We started working on a really bare bones combat resolution system based on some of the stuff we've talked about. You know, we've talked about having separate armor and dodge, basically.
Definitely, because I do like that.
Yeah, it's a really smooth system, and I think we've about got it working where think like kind of like the Fantasy Flight, where you're rolling, you're accumulating successes, and successes over armor apply. But now the original contest is also involves a dodge from the opponent, and the two ways of defending yourself are kind of in conflict with each other, because the more armor you have, the harder it is to dodge.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah. So you might prefer to just load up on armor and not bother rolling a dodge so you can do something else. Or you might not have any armor at all to make your dodge really high, and now you just move faster.
We could even have some shield and armor skills that could apply.
Exactly. We've been talking about that too. We say, all right, what are the different ways a person might dodge based on how they're equipped? They might physically dodge, sidestep. They might block with a shield. Makes sense. They might parry with their weapon. You know, got all kinds of things. So we've got basic versions of those laid out.
This is good. This will flesh out the combat system, the martial combat system, in a good way too, I think.
Yes, because, you know, being martial and getting access to more real combat maneuvers is going to feel good in a way that playing a fighter often doesn't, unless you're a battle master in D&D.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot less bonk or no bonk.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we started doing that. We were having a fun time. We were kind of like coming up with profession-specific rolling mechanics for fun. So we got a big pile of those to show you.
Cool.
It's like it's kind of neat when a class has a thing that only they can do, and it's kind of cool if a profession has something that they can, a way of manipulating their dice resources that none of the other professions do, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we've got some really fun ones there to go over. We've got like 1 or 2 for most of the classes so far.
Good. No, I like that a lot. The class specifics.
Yeah.
Let's see, what were some good ones? My contribution that I thought was fun was that the Desolation Strider being the kind of cowboy.
That was both of us.
Yeah, we both thought it was great. We came up with a different, we mashed a couple together and it was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
But being the cowboy, they can do the sort of duel thing, and they can choose to either shoot swift or shoot sure. And if they're swift, they go at the top of the turn order, but they take a penalty. And if they're sure, they go at the bottom of the turn order, but they get a bonus.
I like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
fun stuff like that. Fun ways for that class in particular to have a thing that they do that nobody else does.
Yeah, Artist, the one that I came up with in particular, is one where you can choose to basically overload your dice pool and make it more powerful, or what I'm about to describe also happens whenever you use more powerful abilities, like, you know, wink wink, this things that you and I have talked about, Church, where if they do that, then they effectively fill a meter, and depending on what, like, sub-profession artist that you are, like, determines different things. Like, if you fill the meter all the way, it represents a completion of your contract with your patron. And for the siphoner in particular, like, filling that meter means that you are about to get into some big trouble with one of the secret powers of Cairne, and you're like most likely going to die. So it's kind of like, a balance mechanic, and this meter can like go down with some like cool off period, but it's just sort of like, a neat balancing thing where you can push more power into it for just that sort of,
Yeah.
consequence.
No, I like, me, I love cause and effect and consequences for actions and whatnot.
Yeah, plus that's a good, like, mechanical way to actually to actually make the consequences of taking a pact mean something, and, like, make the danger real without having to rely on, any future GMs who want to pick up the Cairne system, remembering to add that into the game. Because if there's no mechanical thing, then you may just end up with like the warlock situation in D&D again.
Which we definitely don't want. And
exactly.
I do hope somebody picks up and runs again. Like I want to play at some point just to see what it's like on the other side of the table.
Oh yeah, when we wrap up this, I got next. It'll be a shorter one, but it'll be fun.
No, that's all good. And me being, I don't know what's wrong with me. Obviously, there's something wrong with me, but I have already worked out like a quarter of another Cairne module, let's say.
Yes.
Hey,
yes.
They're so much fun to write.
Because the setting, the more like, because I've been so focused on your story for so long, and the sigil story and everything, and I'm finally, now that we're moving the setting into its own thing, I'm picturing possibilities just every time I turn around. I'm like, what would be fun, or what would be horrifying, Sometimes the two go hand in hand quite often. In fact, I'm going to put, if we ever do publish this physically, on the back, where they always have the reviews, like so-and-so, New York Times says blah, blah, blah. Somewhere on there, I'm going to put, what the fick, Ghinkgo.
Yes.
Immediate reaction to like every one of these characters and creatures.
Terrible. Thanks, I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it. We'll put that one on there too. I probably have too much fun creating some of this stuff, but yeah. Once we get the solid core system, I really am considering maybe starting a Kickstarter or Patreon or something and working us all towards
a proper publication.
Yeah, why not, right?
Oh, it'd be fun. We got to get our pitch package together for that.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time.
After all these years, I think we could. I mean, we may not get rich and famous. We may not topple the Wizards of the Coast giants or anything, but it'd be out there, and it'd be ours. And someday we'll be at a truck stop or, I don't know, space station or something. And it'll come up in conversation and be like, you know what? I helped write that. Geek cred instant.
Incredible.
Yep.
So we're still short of snacks. You want to just push on until we get into enough trouble to wait for?
Fine by me. Up to you guys entirely.
Anna? Ghinkgo?
Yeah, sure.
What you feeling?
Yep.
Alright, let's do it.
We can walk forward until we meet the rest of the people.
Okay.
So,
Let's
once again,
go slow since we've got enemies at the edge of our light radius.
so are we moving through the choke completely then?
Yes, it is time to push through the choke.
All right. So, as you push through the choke, now keep in mind the choke is actually, it's not a thin doorway or just a simple gate. It's a short passage more than anything. Nothing, not like a tunnel or a hallway, but just a short passage. So you step up into the choke. The first thing you notice is that there's an odd smell.
Oh, that's
and,
bad.
and the temperature drops significantly. As soon as you step through, it's almost like going through a curtain of temperature change, and then the smell kind of hits you. It's an odd, acrid chemical smell. As you push forward and your light kind of pushes forward a little bit too, the shadowy creatures at the edge of the light, they start testing their limits. They start kind of pushing in and drawing back and whispering and gibbering in the darkness. You can tell they're getting agitated.
Oh, fun question.
Mm-hmm.
I assume this is literally a choke point that they have held before. How's the spiritual activity here in the choke?
As with most of the locations you've been, it's it's still awash with spectral activity everywhere. Here in particular, yeah, on the side that you've come through, there was a lot of dwarven remnants. Most of them gritting their teeth and pushing back against something that you can't see, obviously. And the odd thing is, well, I guess not terribly odd, is the other side of these conflicts, almost nothing. So you're seeing defender spirits, but not offensive ones.
Ah, something unusual has just occurred to me.
Oh,
Yes, the blighted ones, the creatures of the void, they don't leave spirits either. How curious. Do they have none? Or are they simply taken back?
maybe they are spirits.
I don't think so. At least not in most cases.
Yeah.
They are a different sort of ending.
Very much, and none of it good. So I will say, I think you guys haven't pulled any actual research on the Blightborn, I don't think.
No.
Okay.
We have our own anecdotal evidence here.
Okay. And that's perfectly all right. So that being said, everyone has stepped into the arch.
Yeah.
In as much as we can speak for everyone.
Okay.
We move as a group.
Okay. So into the arch, like I said, temperature drops drastically, enough to kind of give you a chill, and there's that acrid chemical smell in the air. Continuing through.
Let me pull up something off my sheet to use for this.
All right.
First, I think Greenside is still going.
I think you and Belethir both have it.
Yeah, I think we're both rocking the green site right now. So I will examine the floors and the walls and even the ceiling of the choke tunnel
All right.
to see if there might be some sort of vent leaking, something perhaps
Okay.
geothermal, maybe even a trap. And if there is indeed a trap, I do have various advantages towards it.
Yes. Give me a. We'll do an advantaged investigation.
Okay. There you are, sir.
Solid, solid. So you kind of pause, you look around. The first thing you notice is that there is a kind of like an invisible miasma that hovers along the entire length of the arch. Maybe about knee to thigh high. And it's just kind of like a mist that nobody else could really see. Looking up, you can see that this miasma, this mist, whatever it is kind of trailing down the walls from the top of the choke. And in the very top of the choke, you see these bas-relief carvings of these two dwarven faces with their mouths open, kind of pouring this mist out as it clings along the edges of the arch and kind of filters its way down along the stone. You can also see that there's a residue all along the entire, every surface in here, like an oily residue.
Oh, that seems bad. For somebody, at least. Maybe not me.
I will say this, and this is just kind of more of an intuitive than a mechanical. You being able to see the miasma means you cannot see the floor very well.
This is true. And that's a struggle for me because I am detecting a trap.
Yeah, and that would be a feasible assumption to go on.
Yeah. I wish to call the party to a halt.
Saoirse will stop.
Friends, this tunnel is designed for the slaying of enemies.
Yeah, it's a really good choke point. Makes sense that they've been able to hold it for millennia.
Better than you know. Look upwards.
What? Okay.
Do you see the dwarves carved in the ceiling?
Do I see dwarves carved in the ceiling?
Yeah, now that it's pointed out, you can definitely see it. You can also kind of make out like a dripping, oily sheen along the surface of the ceiling and the walls as you're looking.
Oh, okay, cool. So they got like some murder holes and like some hot tar ready. Cool. Terrifying,
Yes.
but reassuring, I guess.
So I say, from the mouths of the dwarves, poison fog descends in pools around our feet. The entire tunnel is coated in something. It may burn, it may sting, it may be poison. I do not know how it is activated, but I can tell you, I likely will not see it. Having done this to my senses, I can see the fog, but not the ground.
Saoirse will look on the ground herself. God, I wish Wilhelm was here. He's the one that's really good at investigation, but I will take a crack at it myself.
Okay. We'll say he's assisting you. How about that?
Okay.
Go ahead. You want to do an active search?
Yeah.
Tell me how you're doing it, physically.
She, with the party around her, considering... Saoirse is going to kneel down in place, and she is just going to scan the ground with her light near her for anything that might look like a trap activation. And she is going to step very slowly and carefully while knelt, if she needs to, check ahead of her.
It's kind of crab walking.
Kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Just the absolute most careful that she can be.
All right. So you're kind of searching around, looking. Give me your advantaged investigation roll, please.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Make a wish, everyone.
You're looking around. You have your phosphor stone, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have your phosphor stone. You're looking around. Make a Constitution save, please.
Oh, no. God.
All right. So your eyes begin to swim, and you start to kind of get dizzy. As you realize that you're breathing in fumes that your body doesn't like, that you couldn't see, being this low down.
Yeah.
Your knees kind of buckle under you, and Saoirse goes down. She's still conscious. You can hear her kind of hacking and coughing on the floor.
Oh, that's not good, is it? I will pick up Saoirse.
Okay. So Saoirse, you're disoriented for a couple rounds. All
right.
It feels like if you've ever been in like a room full of paint fumes.
Oh, God.
You know, that disorientation and kind of whoa that you get.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. So you're okay. You're not physically hurt, aside from maybe losing some brain cells. But you'll recover in a couple rounds. You just got to kind of get some air.
Yeah, so she's just going to... just continuously.
So Saoirse's hacking and coughing.
Does anybody have any way to, like, purify the air around us?
Not of this. No, not of this. I very much doubt this is any form of fungus.
Okay. And just to point out, Uki's tells everyone to put on their face mask if they have one, and she puts her goggles and face mask on when she sees Saoirse hit the ground.
I don't think I need to worry about it.
Yeah, because I know some of you will have one from your desert excursion that was part of your kit. I don't know if you brought it or not.
Yeah, Saoirse will put hers on whenever she comes to.
Okay. Solid. Keep in mind those of you who have it on, just in case. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to suggest to Az that he take the lead on this one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk in front.
You might assume Wilhelm is helping you as well.
Are you walking or are you searching?
Oh, are we searching for, like...
Floor traps.
Floor traps?
We're trying to dodge floor traps.
Pitfalls,
Switches,
bad?
probably.
If
Pressure
you are,
plates?
I'll give you an advantaged investigation since you're being helped.
Okay. I am the best at these.
Here,
The best that ever did it.
Too bad we don't have Van Warren here.
I'm going to be kind here. Since Simon can't be with you,
Yeah.
his character is, however, still... Let's give him a shot. What do you say?
Present and accounted for. Go for it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
I think Simon was here.
you guys remember to say thank you when you see him. So, Belethir kind of shakes his head watching you guys bumble along, and you see the shadows kind of whip around him, and he covers his face and kneels down and immediately begins kind of sweeping an invisible mist away, because he's still got the green sight going himself. And he looks around, and you immediately see him begin to kind of finger these almost invisible creases in the stone along the floor, and he follows them up carefully along the walls and then along the other walls, and you just see him finding you're shocked that they're there at all, but once he points them out, it's like, how did I miss that? They're just so perfectly built into the stone. So there's these holes that go all along the entire length of the passage. You can see them now, and they're at intervals of about 6-7 inches, and just rows going all the way down, and they go all the way up. And he's looking around, and he actually discovers that there's a path through the choke. You have to step on certain tiles to get through. He says, I'm not entirely sure what happens if you step on the wrong one, but I do know we probably don't want to find out while we're in here. So he will, with that roll especially, point out the path.
I noted carefully.
Saoirse does as well. She is taking the dang path.
Yep.
Man, I should have saved that for when I was fighting against you guys. Okay, so I'm going to make a roll here, and I want you guys to ignore it.
What roll?
Exactly. We'll just call that a wandering monster roll.
Oh, beautiful. That's a beautiful number for a wandering monster roll.
I think one or two of you might know what it's about too. So, so you push through the choke carefully, step by step, tile by tile. I won't make any of you roll for this, because that would be kind of mean if somebody fumbled a roll and everybody died here.
What a beautiful thing.
The creatures on the other end of the light, as you move forward, get even more agitated, and you can see them starting to kind of breach into the phosphor stone radiance a little bit more and a little bit more as you get closer and closer, and you could just hear them like slavering and slavering and getting more and more excited as you get closer, and you're starting to wonder how much this light's going to actually hold them back.
We've got as for this.
I'm wondering if you're suggesting some sort of display of like intimidation.
I honestly don't know if they can be intimidated. I'm uncertain. They don't seem to be particularly intelligent. Let us get clear of this trap, and then perhaps give it a try.
Okay.
All right.
If it seems appropriate.
All right. So you push on through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's do this, just in case.
Oh, they're gonna shove us off the tiles. Hey, it's your boy.
Let me shrink that down a little bit. And you guys might see this from time to time. This is my generic battle map for things that don't have maps themselves.
Makes sense.
One more. Okay. I don't know if I have dynamic lighting on here. Do I?
I believe you
looks
do.
like it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a big radius.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see it now. So we're gonna move these guys kind of right to the edge of it. You should see them kind of peeking.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. And you guys can position yourselves however you need to. However you want to, I should say. So yeah, you should see him kind of peek in there.
Yes. I think Wilhelm typically insists on bringing up the rear. Az might be out front, along with Belethir.
All right. So as I said, they are gnashing their teeth hungrily.
And these are.
These are Blightborn.
Also, welcome Snax.
Welcome.
Yes. Yes. Just taking a little winterization. Unexpected.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, exactly. We're 10 days without during winter apocalypse, so yeah, definitely gonna take caution. Let's see. Trying to find my. Did they change something on this?
They've been updating Roll20 a little bit, yeah.
I'm trying to. No, okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah, they're right at the edge of light, kind of gibbering and cavorting and morphing. Their amorphous, shadowy forms kind of twisting and shifting as they go, clawing kind of in your direction. They'll reach into the light of the phosphor stones and then kind of flinch a little bit and step back and growl and mutter. But they're getting more and more brave about breaching the edge of the light as you get closer. So.
Well, now. Uki looks at. We got Wilhelm and I guess Az.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's gonna pull a trick.
I don't know if it's totally appropriate, but so these are like voidy beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they very intelligent?
Can't say.
Can't say. I'm wondering if there might then be. Oh shoot! I wonder if I could like flash on my full form and kind of get them to maybe like recognize. Would they recognize a more powerful being?
Hard
and
to
like
say.
kneel in deference out of intimidation?
You're welcome to try.
Oh, I love those words.
As Uki as Az is doing this, Uki's going to just quietly stretch, reach behind her back, and take what she has slung across her back that's wrapped in like burlap and pull it to her front. And she can feel it's kind of gaining warmth because
Okay.
of these creatures, and she has pitch in her hands.
Awesome. Pitch is in play.
Pitch is ready.
Okay. As you're gonna flare up.
Yeah. We're gonna turn on
Do
everything. We'll kind of just take a couple of steps forward, cracking the knuckles, and just deep breath, and then light up everything. Just pull in, siphon off some of that energy in the area, and just all four limbs just explode in energy.
Okay.
He
So
pulls out the glaive from the space between his hands and thrusts it forward.
Okay. So as I know you're expecting what light, that kind of bright, brilliant energy, right?
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be like bright and golden, radiant, like it's supposed to be from Shah's might.
Yeah.
Bam.
So you stretch and you kind of focus in and you just flex that ability to light up. But rather than the golden radiance you're used to, Az suddenly bursts into flame and stones begin to whirl around him in a wild pattern that's almost impossible to follow. Suddenly the entire area just lights up with brilliant orange fire.
Nice.
Well, that was
Well, that's new.
As you're a little shocked, I'm sure. It is not hurting you, though.
So I will make an attempt to intimidate these blight beasts. Get out of our way, or stand down.
All right, so they'll take a step back. You get the sense that it's less intimidation and more just that you're very bright. I need anybody who wants to give me a perception check.
I love them. Never met a perception check I didn't like. We in there.
Nice. Look at that. Lovely.
Not rolling great today.
You're just getting the bad ones out now.
Yeah.
Alright, I think is that everyone that's actually here? Okay. That'll be fine. So, you guys, listener, Uki, as you're all kind of like, whoa, Az, what the hell? As he flares up and catches on flame. Some of you might even be a little concerned, like, are you okay, buddy? But as this is happening and these step back, you guys hear the shuffling of feet just beyond the light. A groaning, gurgling sound coming along with it, like something wet and bubbly with this shuffling sound kind of behind it.
Well, I've got green sight on.
Mm-hmm.
Is it in range of my vision with green sight?
What is the range on that again?
It is embiggened. Let me check.
What is it?
Let's see. Able to navigate in utter darkness without concern. So, not really specified. I read it to mean that it gives you, like, true dark vision. Like, the darkness is completely unrelated to your sight now.
As I've started to call it, void sight.
Yes. Oh, no.
Did that work?
That did work.
Okay.
Oh, my.
So yeah, and I guess probably Belethir as well would see them.
Yeah, he sees them. I converse with Belethir for a moment, and then I tell the rest of the party. We have some slightly more corporeal foes further in the distance. Traditionally, they are not particularly bothered by the light. It's only range self. Kinda wish I could cast it on Uki.
Here. There you go.
These guys. Gotta love these guys.
But yeah, they are shuffling your direction. All of these ones in the back that you're seeing, by the way, are dwarven.
As you would expect down here.
Just to throw that out there.
Uki is going to step up next to Az. Because just going to turn and say, Az, just in case you weren't aware, Hitch here, it's not quite like my scope musket. It shoots out flaming tar in an arc 30 feet wide and up to 40 feet long. And I just want to make sure that you don't accidentally get stuck in this flaming pitch. So, because she realizes, make sure there's not any friendlies who might wind up in front of me. Because it's like, oh, where I'm standing, if I were to fire this right now, I suspect it's not like I can go, I'm going to fire it, and it's going to start 40 feet out.
It's gonna do some shit.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure everyone in the party is well aware who hasn't seen this special, there's obviously a reason why I keep it under wraps quite a bit.
Literally.
So, I say, here, Uki, let me assist you somewhat, and I push you a visual with slightly better range than your own eyes are managing right now.
Got it.
So you can see the force disposition on the map as it exists right in this moment.
Yeah.
So that basically I can see. I can see. Oh, okay, got it. So that I can see that there are some beings out there, and they look like things we've maybe seen before. And this isn't good, guys.
Yeah. So you see like a line of these guys here, which you probably can see, and you see these guys out here.
Oh, when
or
you
a
say
little
out.
outside of your range.
When you say out here, yeah, okay.
Here.
All right. Well,
Here, I'll do this real quick for you, Uki. Since you're seeing through him. There you go. Can you see him now?
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Well, yeah.
So, as you guys are kind of discussing and these things are shambling closer, and the Blightborn are getting more and more agitated and irritated, and you can tell like they're angry now that there's even more light. How dare you? Saoirse,
Yes.
you feel this little tug at the hem of your dress. Your it's not a dress, it's a, what would you call that? Skirt?
It's technically a dress.
Okay, yeah, the hem of your dress then.
Saoirse's dress is modeled after the Shinron gown.
Oh,
So.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a dress. Overdress.
But yeah, you feel a little tug at the hem of it.
She is going to look down.
There's a little man there. A little man with kind of hairy, pointed ears, gray, balding hair, devious little grin. Very short. Like, very short. Shorter than the dwarves. He kind of looks up at you nervously, cracks this big kind of broken tooth smile, and kind of looks around and goes, "What are you doing? This way." He points back towards the choke.
So Saoirse is going to get the party's attention and tell them that we have a friend that is telling us to leave the choke. and point him out.
Well, he's telling us to go back through the way we just came in.
What do you mean, a little guy?
Saoirse pointed him out.
Is there a little guy there, Church?
There is.
How little of a guy are we talking?
Shorter than the dwarves. Maybe 3 feet tall at best.
Saoirse?
Yes.
Saoirse, the last time we met one of these fellows, it was a god.
I know.
Is it a spirit? This to Church. I am observing it with the spiritualist senses.
No. Nothing abnormal from a living creature.
Is it definitely living? I should be able to see the temperature of his skin.
Mm-hmm. He's actually running a little hot, if anything. But yeah, he's looking around nervously now that everyone's kind of looking at him. And he kind of jerks his head back towards the choke, and you see him just kind of bound off with a remarkable agility for a creature this size. And he looks kind of old. But he just hops through the tile path like he's been through it 1,000,000 times.
I admit myself curious, but I didn't really like it in there.
Well, I think he wants us to head out.
Yes, he did seem to want that.
And it would get us out of this danger.
Listener is torn. He'll wait for the party to chime in.
Well, we just got here. Why would we go back there so soon? Like it's unusual, sure, for people to cross this front line, but our business lies that away.
Things may have changed somewhat since the last time you were out and about. The race of people that gentleman belongs to have been dead for 200 years.
Are you thinking he's a halfling?
Yeah, I was thinking it was a half.
It looks a little different than a halfling.
Alright, but he is 3 foot tall.
Yeah, very short.
We are at a sub-dwarf scale. There are no other known races that are that short. That's correct?
Gnomes.
Gnomes exist? Do gnomes exist?
They did.
They did. They no longer exist.
As far as
Supposedly.
we know.
They got wiped out by the blight.
As far as we know.
What? Did I mention he had horns?
No, you didn't.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, he had horns.
That's important.
Yeah, little kind of horns protruding out of the sides of his head. Sorry, I thought I'd mention that.
No, that's good. I'm not certain what that was, but I suspect it's not supposed to exist.
I'll take things I've heard in Cairn for 500, Alex.
Well, it wasn't hostile to us, and then Saoirse's just going to have a moment of realization come across her face, like a sudden "oh wait" moment, and then she's going to hang her head and then just say, "Never mind."
Yes. Not overtly hostile, but it did ask us to walk back into a trap.
That we know the path through to not trigger it.
A well-placed rock would do the same, I suspect. The front lines are approaching us. How are Az and Uki feeling?
I don't know. I could cut through these beasts probably.
love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, would you rather fight onward through this horde, or go back and figure out what's going on with this little guy? The little guy alarm is ringing. There's a little guy to investigate.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Uki's looking at and with Wilhelm being silent, as indisposed as he is, she's feeling this YOLO moment, strongly influenced by Az.
Awesome.
She's feeling a little triggered happy.
All right. Sounds like we're leaning towards a fight. Is that right?
That's an awfully big front line to pile through.
Oh, they've got some range on them. These guys are slow.
I mean, I don't mind doing the fight, but going
know-
and checking out the little guy problem probably sounds more like a this party kind of thing.
Yeah, because that's 15 enemies right there.
Well,
I wasn't
they've
counting, 'cause
moved that.
That's meta knowledge.
Well, I was gonna say. But
They're
here's the
steadily
thing.
moving.
If I lay pitch, it doesn't matter. If they're gonna come at us, they're gonna come at us. But if I use pitch and lay down flaming tar, it's gonna be a heck of a lot easier for them to move, more difficult for them to move through that. If we're going a different direction.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great idea. How about you do your pitch area control, and then we retreat back through the choke and hope they step on a tile and die.
There you go. I think that would work.
All right. So
Everybody okay with that?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, that can work.
All right, I'm gonna just go ahead. So I'm gonna roll my. For pitch, I can just do my scope musket roll.
yeah, that's fine.
It's been a while since I've used this thing.
All right.
15.
Yeah, no, that'll. Or what are you aiming at specifically?
Oh yes. Apologize. You may have seen me lining this up earlier. So my I'm actually aiming at. I'm doing it's 30 foot, 30 feet. So I'm aiming across this line here. So not quite because it's only 30 feet. So not getting this one here, but yeah, there you go. That, and then also let me check my measurements from me to it. So 40 feet. So yeah, this is basically going to be it's basically laying this big, this area all in here will be covered. Yeah.
So that. Okay.
Yeah, about like that. So, and this will cause, so the pitch deals an initial 1d10 damage to all targets and an additional 1d6 per round for 5 rounds following, unless the burning tar can otherwise be removed. Targets are allowed a dexterity saving roll to reduce the damage by half. Okay. And that's the important thing to know. Also, the weapon may only be discharged once per 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So,
The
meaning,
limitation.
every other round, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. And so I can do roll a 1d10.
All right. Let me
Right?
get their dex saves
Okay.
real quick, which
Okay.
looks like you're gonna catch 3 of them. So 1, 2, and 3. All right. So full damage to 2.
Okay, so
10. Nice.
10.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So these 3. Whoops. It would help if I chose the right thing. Catch fire. We'll put that up there.
Mm-hmm.
These 3 catch fire.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a
Love
cool
it.
effect.
Those 3 catch fire. You lay out the burning pitch as it goes. The remainders that aren't caught in it step back. Kind of almost in unison. These mindless bastards continue their step forward, kind of oblivious and uncaring. These three. All right. Well, you guys go ahead. What are you doing from here? Those three of them are kind of caught in the fire.
I think at this point we're retreating backwards into the tunnel.
All right. So I'll give you the backwards into the tunnel unless you tell me that you're rushing. Are you going to take your time and walk through, or are you running
These
through?
guys are as fast as I am.
True. You don't really
Yeah.
rush anywhere.
Yeah, I think we're going to, walk as carefully as possible just because, we still need to get back through that trap.
I'm just gonna casually walk back, but I'll cover the retreat.
All right.
And Uki is basically walking backwards, but she's looking over her shoulder just to make sure as she's watching, because she knows we have to be careful about where we step. But she's going to move back and still have pitch at the ready, so that if something does happen, if they take action, then she'll fire it off again when
Okay.
at the appropriate amount of time.
Sounds good.
The acceptable amount of time.
All right. So you'll move through without issue. The remaining, as you get about halfway through the choke, right? The three that you caught, all three of them, kind of one by one, just explode. Doom! 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 In this burst of negative energy. It leaves a small, flaming crater, a mixture of pitch and just goo on the ground. The remaining creatures work around the pitch. They're mindless for the most part, but don't walk into fire. They're at least smart enough to not walk into fire. But it takes them longer to get around and then make their way, obviously. So you guys are on the far side, and the little dude's waiting there, kind of tapping his foot, like, what the hell took you so long? He's a strange little man. Actually, here, I got a picture of him. He does have a little friend with him, by the way.
Ooh.
So
He's about to pop up a picture of a little devil gnome with a 5-foot long cannon. No, it really is just a little guy. Yes.
So yeah, he kind of looks past you guys down the choke as they're starting to enter. And he's, move aside. He starts kind of hobbling over towards the entrance.
Don't like that this guy's picture title is called New Friend.
You know what happened to the last new friend that someone brought into this party?
He was perfectly fine. His name is Belethir.
We're talking about the new little friend that we took with us to Stonebridge that did some damage.
Vampire didn't happen.
That was all
That's not a
happiness
thing.
and rainbows.
Oh, that's right.
That wasn't
Oh.
the last little. If you count all of the friends we've made, we're
what you're
batting
talking about. Ashland
5
is the
out
greatest.
of 7.
Ashling was the greatest.
Our average is really high.
So he'll rush past you guys, hobble over, and you'll see him kind of grab hold of what looks like just a normal stone and lift it up, and it's attached to the ground. And you hear this cranking sound as he does. And right there at the entrance, all those little holes that went all along the wall?
Yeah.
Bolts shoot out from all of them. Just dum 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 dum, creating a portcullis, blocking off the entrance effectively. And you see him just kind of start rubbing his hands and kind of giggling as he's looking down the choke. The creatures are starting to enter now. It's just kind of shambling along hungrily.
Does this creature have a mind? This is an important check. Can I communicate telepathically? with this fucked up little guy.
Are you going to try to?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you doing? Just reaching out for a touch, or?
Yeah, just like, yep, pressing the doorbell. Bring, bring.
Yeah,
Same as I ever do.
He slaps himself in the forehead a few times. Stop that! Stop! And his little friend that he's carrying kind of peeks up and looks over his shoulder at you, accusingly.
I try the little friend. Maybe he's more accepting of visitors.
You try the little friend?
Yes.
Right.
It's about to fuck me up. I can feel it.
The little friend comes through with this strange little voice. It's yes, I understand you'd like to communicate.
Oh my god.
Yes, I was attempting to speak to your companion with the horns and all, but he seems a little indisposed, so I figured I would ask you.
Rog? No, Rog thinks he's my companion. He's just my ride. I'm actually the one in control here. I've got him working the gears and levers to take care of these minor inconveniences before they get out of hand.
Yes, they are quite troublesome. I am listener.
I'm Gog.
Well, Gog, might I ask, the two of you live out here?
Live. That's rich.
Yes, I wouldn't say that I would pick it myself. Not enough sunlight. I shall simply ask, since you seem quite agreeable. We are traveling to the far side, really, of the cavern. We seek the domes of the Shining Eyes. It seems to be quite a mess down here.
Oh, that's an auspicious journey you've got ahead of you. Why ever would you want to go to that God's forsaken place?
Well, the gods and the forsaking thereof, that is really the operative question here.
No. Don't deal with gods. They'll just let you down.
That's the point. I would like to file a complaint. And really, you must be able to speak with someone to file a complaint.
Can I speak to your manager, please?
Going Karen on the divine.
She already went Karen on the Flavanians.
That's true. That's true. So he's
Ask God for the manager. The God just says, I am the manager.
Yeah. So he shrugs and kind of shakes his head. It's like, well, I mean, if you must, you must. Far be it from me to stop you. I don't think you'll ever get even halfway there. But it's going to be very entertaining to watch you try.
Yes. Do you mind terribly? Hopefully we are not traipsing across your territory here.
This isn't mine.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you for your assistance in dealing with this blighted horde. They are trouble.
Do you think Rog looks like a dwarf?
No, he looks rather shorter. I thought for a moment he was a halfling, but most of those are gone. All of those are gone now, really.
Oh, do me a favor. When you can. He's probably not going to speak to you because he's a pretentious little git, but have one of your friends tell him he looks like a halfling for me, please. That would be just delicious.
This is very funny because listener may not be socially savvy enough to know that he's being set up here. 15 charisma save. That's not terrible.
Here, I'll do this. So, as this conversation goes on, though, the creatures move further in. As they get about halfway, and at this point they're all kind of filed in and bouncing off the walls and stumbling along, you hear plates beginning to kind of click. And every time you hear one click, you see a layer of that similar portcullis at the far end just doom 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 close behind them, and then another one doom 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 close behind them. Until about 3 layers deep, a couple more layers start at the front. And suddenly they find themselves kind of hemmed in the choke. The Blighted, you can see they're starting to kind of morph through the bars.
Troublesome.
But Rog reaches down and lifts up another rock that seems to be a normal rock, but once again it's attached. It comes out as a column. And you hear that grinding, grating sound again. And he kind of looks over his shoulder at Saoirse and winks. He goes, watch this. And turns back. And he twists the column. And all of a sudden, this spray of another chemical comes out of the mouths. And the moment it contacts the oily surface, it ignites in this green flame that just tears through the entire choke. All of you are just kind of like pushed back by this boom as it ignites. The gas goes up and just all your hair blows back. Your nose hairs kind of singe a little. Horrible smell as you hear them begin to just explode inside. The Blighted just boom, 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 boom as they expire from the flame. Meanwhile, Rog and Gog both are kind of bouncing, Gog being held and Rog and clapping their hands and giggling and cavorting. You get the impression they've done this before.
Excellent work.
Well, of course it is. What'd you expect? Oh wait, that's listener.
Yeah, that's listener, so only the tiniest friend would hear this.
Thank you very much. Yes. I mean, I told him what to do, so he's not very bright.
Saoirse will say, "Oh, what a neat little contraption there."
Well, I mean, I may have told the dwarves how to build it, Maybe. Says Rog. Gog has not spoken verbally yet, just so we save the confusion.
Well, you seem to know these caverns really well. Would you perchance happen to know how to get to a fortress in about the northeast of this cavern that leads down into the domes of the Shining Eyes?
Domes of the Shining Eyes. Oh. As the dwarves like to say, you smell like sunshine. You're never gonna see the domes of the Shining Eyes.
Well, we were told to go there as a part of the Somnambulist prophecy.
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's... And she'll, tell what she knows of the Somnambulist prophecy, like, given the short version of what it is, what and why they're here.
So you get about 2 sentences in, and you just see his little, like, void sight eyes kind of glaze. Like, he just completely tunes out. Gog, on the other hand, the little creature that he's holding, seems to be listening attentively throughout your entire explanation. He doesn't say anything, but he's kind of listening in and focused on you.
Yeah, so as Saoirse completes, she'll just sort of like see that she's kind of lost Rog and like Grog or Cog who hasn't spoken, like, you know, like, but is listening attentively. She'll just kind of like sheepishly start rubbing her arm and just, you know, be like, kind of like, yeah, oh, okay.
Listener who is still connected over to Gog says, yes, we are on something of a quest.
Quests are, I hate to say it, but for chumps. Let's be honest. It's not going to be a profitable experience. It's not going to bring you any joy, and I don't think you understand where you are, if I'm being totally honest.
The deep, dark bowels of the earth,
Yeah.
far from the loving sun and the clear waters.
So that's just not a thing until you've been down here a while, you know? It's just a song title, a feeling you get from a poem. It's an intangible, inconsequential dream. But, you know...
The ones I summon out of my flask.
True.
when you've been here, as long as I have, and him too, you know, whatever, but you realize very quickly that this is its own thing, and for most a nightmare. Granted, for me it's nothing. I mean, this is nothing at all. Like I've been down here for a long time. It's really no big thing at all. But for you, all of you, you're so, I don't know, just finite.
Yes, I am certainly very finite lately.
Yeah, I get that. I don't think you're gonna make it, but I will lay odds on how far you'll get.
Do tell.
It depends, because I don't want to, I don't want to influence your decision too much, because there's a lot of different paths you could take from here, and depending on which one you choose, the odds may fluctuate.
I prefer good odds when possible.
There are no good odds.
Better, then.
Even that's probably...
Still too positive for you, perhaps. Preferential.
Well, I mean, the domes are the domes. I assume you at least have a general idea of where you're going, yeah?
We have a direction. We have a,
Saoirse
sense.
mentioned northeast to a fortress that leads down into them.
Oh, yeah.
Navigating this place may prove to be more difficult.
Well, I mean, you're headed straight shot in the right direction, although it's not a straight shot in the right direction, is it?
No, there are entirely too many blighted creatures for us to call it that. Do tell me, Gog, if you were a fool in the manner that we are, how would you try to go there?
I'd probably go home, right back up the long stair and into the sunshine. Although, sunshine, gross.
Oh, there's nothing quite like it.
Haven't seen it in a long time. Don't even miss it.
Ah, perhaps. I do require it.
Still.
Still, if you were so fool as to continue, and you decided that your life was valuable to yourself, how would you proceed?
All I can tell you is this, because I don't want to influence this. See, Rog and I have a bet going, and
Oh,
you know, Rog's not very bright. He gets very upset if I influence these little wagers that we have from time to time. So, you can continue the way you're going, through the choke, and onward that direction. See where it takes you. There is a path, if you go back to the central cavern, where the stinky dwarves live, that leads north, and there's another one that leads east.
it is good to know at least some little bit about the disposition of the caves. Please allow me, I will converse with my friends, and we will see how the bet unfolds.
I can't wait to see.
So, I link back up with the party and say, friends, I have had a delightful conversation with Gog,
What's a Gog?
the small one.
Oh, so he speaks.
That's not a doll.
No, he's quite an erudite fellow, as a matter of fact.
What the fuck is that?
I felt it would be rude to ask.
Never seen anything like it.
No.
Neither have I. But, according to Gog, he has no great wish to interfere with our plans, even so much so as to advise us on the path to take. But he has informed me that the way through the choke does lead to the fortress we seek, but there are alternatives. From the central cavern, there is yet another passage north and a further one to the east, which he has implied both work their way around at some point and may be more passable, less passable. He's an impish fellow and did not really care to say.
So you're saying we could go north and then east, or we could go east and then north,
Yes.
or we could just go northeast.
We could plow northeast. I suspect, given that the dwarves have bothered to establish such a firm defense, and that Gog and Rog here are so adept at working it, that there may be a great many more blighted creatures along this particular line.
Saoirse nods.
I don't know, they seem to go down pretty easy. Just,
Well, yes, but consider the amount of firepower deployed.
Well, I suppose there was a kill box involved.
Yes. We would not be so fortunate the next time. Perhaps another day's travel further along the road here.
It's tragedy.
So, do we sneak to the east and then the north, or the north and then the east?
East looked rather interesting to me whenever we had just left Underhome. I considered there, but thought we would try north first.
I am not disposed one way or the other in particular. I just feel that this one may be the path of greatest resistance.
Agreed, and I would rather take a safer path if one is available to us.
So we're moving back. From what I'm seeing, is that yeah?
I was just moving her token out of the choke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
To show about our current relative position.
Yeah, no, you're good. All right. So yeah,
So who's feeling one way or the other? We have a vote for East. We have a vote of no concern. How about Uki? What's Uki feel like?
Oh, someplace, some way, a direction we haven't tried yet. No, she's just going. So are we gonna? It's kind of like I'm feeling like spinning around a little bit there. So, yeah. She's still not completely sure who the true guy is that this new little guy is, and not fully trusting him. So she's not. She's kind of like, yeah. I would say ambivalent, but just more so of the, you know, she's being observant. So she doesn't really have an opinion on which way to go.
okay.
Long-winded way to say it.
Sounds like East.
East, yes.
East.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to start popping the token places at intervals.
So do you say it out loud? That that's the way you're going?
Yes. Or
Okay.
somebody might. Listener does not really do out loud.
Oh, and quick question. So listener has green sight and is able to see things that we can't, right?
For a little while.
For the last little bit of this hour, yeah.
Right, has been. And so listener saying to go east?
Saoirse is the one who suggested it.
Saoirse's on that one.
Got it. Okay. I doesn't know if listener was seeing something that we weren't seeing, so that's why it would be, he might have more insight. But all right, good to know.
So you guys start heading eastward?
Yes, I bid farewell to Gog. I say, new friends, we will journey eastward, I believe.
Oh. Rog looks down at Gog and kind of chuckles. They're going east. Gog just kind of like shakes his head at him silently.
I'd be more concerned if I knew who had bet on what.
Says, we'll follow along for a little while, if you don't mind.
I don't believe we'd be concerned. We've certainly had worse traveling companions.
Alright, so they'll follow along as you guys start making your way,
Okay.
following
Now
the.
that following the curve of the wall here at a bit of a distance.
So
Might I suggest
yeah,
union break?
it's fine by me. You guys good for a union break?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
I can do some tea.
All right. Union break it is, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back after these words from our sponsors. Just they're in chat. Just read them. We'll see you shortly.
Don't touch that dial.
Welcome back. Dun dun dun. Hello, everyone. All right, so we are.
Hey,
Are we home?
Who is this? Who joined?
Genesis.
Hey, welcome.
Hi.
Ooh, that sounds like a real mic. You're home.
Yeah.
Hello. How you doing? You
How
doing
are
all
the,
right?
How are the puppers?
Okay. They're alive, and hopefully
Always-
will
always a
continue to be
bonus.
alive. Yeah. Jeez.
Preferably, yes, definitely.
They're not happy with me because I just gave them their pills.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm confused, but we can talk about that later.
So, a thing I do is I don't even bother trying to hand them the pill and see if they'll eat it because I know they won't. It smells weird. It smells like medicine. It smells like the vet. They're not gonna take it. So I put it in their mouths and then I do this thing where I run my like a finger down their throat to like stimulate the swallowing thing.
Mhm.
And then that'll help them take it. But I don't know. I kind of I'm like, okay, you got to take it here. This is the way it is. Like,
I trained hours from puppy to believe that they're treats, which I guess might be dangerous in its own way, but it makes it a lot easier to give them to her.
yeah. What if she gets the bottle and chews it open?
Fortunately, they don't smell exciting to her. She's just like, she's used to receiving them in the middle of receiving treats, so she eats them with no problems.
Okay. Something to think about. My small one's only 7 months old. She might fall for that.
Oh, for sure. But I'm glad they're doing well.
And you came back just in time. I just got back from our break.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. What have I missed?
We've met the best fucked up little guy, and he is even smaller, even more fucked up little guy.
So Jeff Dunham, got it.
Yes. Yeah, except what if the puppet was the smart one?
So Jeff.
So Jeff Dunham.
So Jeff Dunham.
I'm sorry if he actually hears this, which he won't. It's fine.
He's fine. He's shown people puppets for 2 decades for like $10 million.
He'll dry his tears
I'm
with
not
Benjamin's.
worried about Jeff
Look at all-
Dunham's feelings.
Look at all the money he's making. He'll dry his tears with the $100 bill seats.
Yes.
It's fine.
He's okay. But yes, church, show her the fucked up little guy.
Oh yeah. Allow me to.
I got actually get in
introduce you.
game for that. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead, get in. I'll pop his picture up for you.
I'm still warm from the second shower I took. So.
Good.
I have to wash my hair and the sheets and the curtains and everything and just sanitize the entire house. Can't. Okay.
Good. To fill you in while you're loading in to see the little guy, my favorite little guy. We pushed through the choke that we arrived at last session, discovered it was a trap, stepped very carefully to avoid setting off the trap, made it to the other side, and found ourselves just completely, faced off against a small squad. We're going to go with squad rather than battalion.
Squad's good.
Yeah, of both Blightborn and...
Light aberrations.
Light
And don't forget,
aberrations.
Saoirse went down. She inhaled some fumes.
Yes, Saoirse was a little bit punched up by the fumes. They are not good for you.
Just made her a little dizzy. She's otherwise fine.
Yeah.
After a few rounds, she was fine.
Yes, but we got to the other side, and we're sitting there forming our battle line, figuring out what to do about the various monsters. And then Saoirse feels a tug at the hem of her dress, and it's a fucked up little guy.
Imagine that.
Who said, "What are you doing? Come back this way."
So, after a minute, Uki lays down covering fire with pitch, and then we do go back that way. The 2 little dudes set off the trap as the various blight monsters get into it. They are, duly crushed. The somewhat larger little guy, name of Rog, is communicative, except with listener, whose method of communication tends to freak him out. But the tiniest guy is both the brains of the operation and really quite suave. So, the larger one is Rog. The smaller one is Gog. Apparently they live here and they do a lot of killing of blight monsters, and they think that what we're doing is very silly. But they have made a bet on it and provided us with the tiniest modicum of information. So we have elected to go through an easternmost passage to try and reach the fortress we're going to.
Yeah, go east and then head north. We were originally going the most direct route, but obviously most dangerous.
Yep. Apparently there are 3 routes with which we can take. We could go east and then north. We could go north and then east. Or we could just go northeast and to get to our destination with varying levels of danger.
Speaking of, I need to roll some unimportant
Roll
dice.
some danger. Oh, that's a high danger number.
Oh, that's a not danger number. Danger numbers are little.
I'm not going to say one way or the other.
He will never say. But yeah, now we're just trekking along east. Let me move us eastward some more.
And here you go, Master Miss. Rog and God.
Rog and God.
Fucked up little guys.
I love it.
All right. So,
Oh,
They're also following behind.
Yeah.
yes.
And we
started
know
on
this.
fire.
Oh yeah, it as did catch on fire.
On purpose.
Intentionally.
So
I mean, I wasn't intending fire, but, you know.
he lit up. So you make your way along
Mm-hmm.
this curve in the stone,
Yes.
still following the left-hand wall, as it were.
That is the plan.
As you make your way, and once again, keeping in mind that the walls of the caverns are littered with old ruins of buildings, domiciles, wrecked, blown-out homes, littered with bones, and in some cases, fresher bodies. All of the ones you do come across are spiked through the head and unceremoniously left where they lay. As you round the corner, however, and I have a visual. I do. You see, standing kind of on its own, a little ways off from the rest, well, an undamaged dwarven manor house.
Ooh.
Carved out of the stone itself, dark as pitch and quiet as the grave, lies ahead of you. Well, you can go
It's in
past it if you
remarkably
choose
good
to,
shape.
but- yeah, it stands out because it is not destroyed.
Well,
Seems
it's getting.
fortuitous.
Yeah, it's probably getting pretty late into the adventuring day here, right?
I mean, you guys did come down a mile-long stairway, deal with the dwarves in Grunholm, trek all the way through Grunholm, all the way to the choke, deal with the choke, and then all the way back here. I'd say it's been a day.
I imagine that's as close to shelter as we will find down here.
If it's not already occupied.
Well, imagine the open plains are occupied by various creatures as well.
That's fair. It might be less occupied. At
Yes.
least it's walls.
Yes. Defensible. You may put your back to one and stay there.
Very true. So are we going in? Is that the plan?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, you you make your way up the steps. I don't have dynamic lighting on here, so just go with it. Hopefully you can still see. I don't think it'll be a problem, though. But you make your way up to the front of the manor.
Love a good map. You love to see.
Now, it does show some wear and tear, as you can see approaching closer, but it is not the usual war-torn damage. It appears to be more of just neglect in the passage of time. As you can see, like the stone path that leads up to the door is slowly being covered over. The braziers have fallen apart due to disrepair. There's dings and scratches and stones missing from the wall, masonry. Well, no, not masonry. This is all actually carved directly out of the stone, but the door leading in is hanging loose on one hinge, and as you approach, you can kind of hear it creaking from the weight, kind of pulling against the one hinge as it swings slightly, just a little bit, just that kind of creak sound here and there, just a little creak as you approach.
As always, sus. But, spiritual activity report. How are we looking?
So, obviously there's still the usual flood of spectral activity.
Of course, the tides of battle wash endlessly to and fro.
Yes. As you approach the manor house, it does calm a bit. There's a strange sensation for you in particular of a very sentient spirit somewhere nearby.
Oh.
Something that is aware of your presence. You get that sense.
A mighty spirit dwells here.
Perhaps it's friendly and would not mind us staying here.
Amongst the dead, friendliness is such a difficult proposition. The dragon was quite friendly.
Generally
Would have
leave
pulled
the
us to the depths just the same.
Generally leave the spiritual stuff to you guys.
Yes.
And you guys leave the bonking things to me.
Yes.
We've got our specialties and divisions of labor.
I suppose I should make the introductions. Keep the bonking on standby. It doesn't tend to work against the dead.
All right. So, you make your way up to the
Yes.
door.
Yes. I make my way up to the door. I'll press against it, but as I go, I'm sensing for the spirit's attention. You know, I can make contact without necessarily walking right up to their face.
Bonking the dead. New band name.
Oh, that would be very good, actually.
Classic, bonking the dead. All right, so you
I'm
make your-
imagining like what sort of genre would bonking the dead be? This is
Cowbell and glockenspiel only.
Cowbell and glockenspiel only. No, that's a little too much. I'm feeling.
You know
like,
what? You laugh. After we finish tonight's stream, I'm going to introduce you to a band that has cowbell and glockenspiel called Miranda Sex Garden.
This is why we keep him around. He's the best in the business.
But okay, so you make your way up to the door. You push gently on the hinge, the one hinged door.
Yes.
Give me a dex save, please, as the door immediately just snaps off the hinge and falls towards you.
I'm going to be smacked in the face by this door. Are you ready? Here we go.
All right.
That's a substantially above average roll for me.
That's not terrible. It's not terrible. The door smacks you pretty hard. It is a stone door. So it cracks you pretty good for 4 damage. And then
Ouch.
you manage to kind of just redirect and step aside. It hurt, but
Yeah.
you're still
Push
there.
it off.
The door slams onto the ground. Dust just kicks up and swirls and motes. Not too terrible for you. Everyone else stayed back, so it's not aggravating anyone's breathing conditions. But everyone, I assume, is watching.
Yeah.
As the dust kicks up, you all see this very stately dwarven profile kind of push into the dust, like there's an invisible presence there, and kind of look up and down at Listener and then step back into the houseway. Listener, you were kind of dazed a moment, so you missed it.
I was shrugging off like a half-ton stone door, so
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
it hurt. Ow.
Thing 15 foot wide. Normally, you look at a 15-foot wide slab. That's your entire countertop.
It's a double door, just so you're
Yeah.
half.
That's
that.
still a lot of stone.
It's a lot of stone. Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah, so Saoirse is going to be like,
Did you see that, Listener?
Ugh. No, I'm afraid there was a door in my face. I may have missed it.
It looked like a very stately looking dwarf, that figure in the dust that looked you up and down and then faded backwards into the manor.
Yes, that does seem like something a spirit would do. I peer into the manor through the dust.
Peering in, you see the inside. The floor is made of polished onyx tiles.
Ooh.
The rug that opens up before you at one time must have been just stunning. It's made from some type of woven fiber and looks like it's probably a hand-stitched rug from pre-blight days, but it's fallen to ruin over time. The colors are still somewhat vibrant. There are 2 doors to your right, a large room to your left, and then another door off the large room that you can see here. Once again, I apologize for the not blocking everything off from your field of view yet.
Oh, you're fine. I can pretend. I have to pretend to be a plant. I can pretend that I can't see several rooms.
That's fair. So I will say you don't see any movement inside, no spectral activity at all.
Well, there's nothing here in the front room. I don't really have any ability to sense malevolence. I have no on-the-books ability to do this, but it has happened in the past, you know, the particularly bad stuff, like the Void Wraith, does have a bit of a smell to it in the spiritual field.
Yeah, and you have enough between Genesis and Saoirse. You've got some empaths in the group too.
Yes, I will sense for it, and I'll also reach back to them in particular. I'll say, how does the, how should you say, how is the vibe? How does the vibe seem to you?
Saoirse will examine, check it out.
It's just empty. You're not really picking up anything substantially that pressures you. Like, you're obviously, you know, Saoirse being a Shonakijin, you're sensitive, but it's not like, say, as powerful as like a psychic ability, you know. But you're not you would normally, if there was something really malevolent here, you could probably sense it. You're not sensing anything like that.
I'm not really getting anything, Listener.
I'll go for the more subtle option of vibe checking the space to see what, like,
Okay.
what's going on.
Alright, you're actually reaching out psychically. Okay, what are you using?
I am. Let me. This one?
Aura reading?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The house gives off a strange, like raven violet aura. It's almost black, but there's still some color there.
Ooh. It's gross.
Gross, you say? That's interesting.
I don't really have any other words for it.
Is it malevolent?
It's dark. Let's say that. It's very very almost as dark as it can get type of dark. Like on the purple black side of the thing.
Probably the color of Belethir's clothing, if he has shaped his clothing out of shadows.
Genesis looks at Belethir. Like that, but slightly lighter.
Guess what? Listener is a creature of curiosity and gets into trouble constantly. He says, "How interesting," and he walks into the house.
Okay.
Oh god. It's too late now. God damn it.
Alright, so listener steps in.
Yes.
Alright, you step in. Kind of the hesitation as the foot hovers and then steps in. As you do, a little puff of dust comes up where your foot lands. Looking down, you realize that there is a complete thick layer of undisturbed dust across every surface you can see. The thing that stands out, though, is it is undisturbed. There are no cobwebs. There are no tracks of vermin or insects of any kind. It is a completely undisturbed layer of dust.
I suspect that something very disturbing lives here indeed. Or, rather, does not live here. It commands sufficient respect that even the blighted creatures do not travel here.
Alarming.
Yes, but also very curious.
I'm sure it's fine.
Probably fine. Listener doesn't have an appropriate fear of the dead. As a spiritualist, he just kind of expects to get along with them. This has gotten him into trouble before, and will get him into trouble again. I take a few more steps into the room, and I start to reach out with my mind.
Alright.
Saoirse will step in after him.
Okay.
Now, fascinatingly, that may be less wise.
Alright.
Genesis stays outside.
Wilhelm will go in. You know, he's not going to let you. I feel like that's what he would do.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely a Wilhelm move right there.
Yeah, regardless of whether or not Saoirse, like, stayed outside or went in, like, he'd be stepping in.
So, you into this main, what appears to have at one time been a grand hall, perhaps. For the most part, it's empty. The room is dominated by what would have been at one time an elaborate chandelier that has since fallen from the vaulted roof. The ceilings in here are easily 25 to 30 feet high. It's all one floor, but just huge vaulted ceilings. The fireplace to your left there, dormant and cold, still with dust-covered ashes in it, is a mastercraft of stonework. It's carved out of one singular piece of obsidian, which is almost a lost art form even among the dwarves of this era. Carving obsidian on this scale. You can almost imagine that when a fire was lit in it, the way that it would catch the light and kind of glow must have been quite beautiful. Beyond that, there's a door to your right, the two doors south of you, and then a smashed, perhaps maybe a chest. It's hard to say. It's old rotted wood covered in dust in the northwest corner of the room there. However, still nothing moves. Your mind does not reach a contact of any type.
I stop and I look around and I say, I wonder what is the proper way for a guest to wait to be attended to in Dwarven society. Or what was Dwarven society. Troublesome. I approach the fireplace out of curiosity.
Okay. Once again, you're taken aback by the craftsmanship more than anything. It's a beautiful piece, probably worth several fortunes, even by today's standards.
Such remarkable command of the stone.
Saoirse looks at it respectfully, but does not touch.
Fair
I
enough.
touch.
Nothing happens. It's very cool to the touch.
Yeah, Saoirse doesn't think it's cursed or anything. She just wants to be as respectful as she can. Because if there are spirits here and she did see something that might be like a spirit, then she wants to leave as many stones unturned that she can.
As in Uki and Genesis, where you're standing right now, Gog and Rog are kind of mumbling. Well, Rog is mumbling to Gog, and you can kind of overhear him say, like, okay, we can raise the odds a little bit. That's fine. And they kind of look back at the door expectantly, just watching.
What are these guys on about?
Interesting.
Wander over to the smashed chest pile of debris.
Uh-huh.
Kneel down, peer at it. Very old.
It is. Whatever was in it at one time is long since kind of rotted away. Looked like it had been scrolls or books maybe at one time, but whatever it was now is just fallen to dust.
What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah, Saoirse will head over to this room and open up the door to peer inside.
Okay. The door is locked.
She is very hesitant about trying to open it or even look for a key.
Just kick it down. It'll be fine.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Sure.
Listener will check
I'll
the
walk
next
over.
one in the line.
Just like, yeah, I'll kick a door down.
Uh-oh.
You need a door kicked down?
I'm just creeping in slowly, carefully.
I wasn't going to touch it if it's locked.
How about the next two? Church, they locked as well? I start with this one if it matters.
That one is not locked.
Okay.
The handle a iron knob
Mhm.
just crumbles in your hand to dust, and the door slowly kind of just swings open from the disturbance more than anything. The door, as it swings open, hits something. About a couple inches it managed to open, and it hits something. Nothing hard, but something that just kind of stops the momentum.
Okay. Possible to look through?
Were you trying to look through the hinge side, or just peer around? It's opening.
Just peer around, yeah.
Okay, it's opening inward.
Okay, I step out of the way of it then.
Okay.
I was kind of in the way of it.
All right. So you look in, and there's something metal wedged under the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's covered in dust. Kind of, you can tell whatever it is not weathered the time well, but it's enough to stop the door from moving much further without being forced.
Oh, very tricky.
I look at the rug.
It
Genesis.
was beautiful at one time.
I listen at the rug.
Listen at the rug.
We don't have
Yes?
the listen skill anymore.
Oh.
What a shame. Yes?
Bad vibes accepted. Are you willing to traverse the house?
A noise emanates from the corner that I've managed to creep into.
Yes.
Oh, I guess. Seems. Ugh. Okay. Sure. Yes, I will. Okay. Where am I going?
I'm hesitant to break anything here, and there's something very heavy on the other side of this door.
Wait, is the door even open enough that we could slip into the room?
Well, it's.
I assumed no.
It's this door, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody small enough might be able to, like thin enough.
Like Gog?
No, Gog's actually kind of wide. He's just short.
Oh. Okay. Can we see
Oh, well, no.
the heavy thing, or is it
God
completely?
could, but
Oh no, I was thinking of Rog. No,
you were
God
thinking
probably.
of Rog.
God could, but
He ain't coming in here.
They
though.
haven't
He's
come in the house.
wise.
Okay.
I said,
they're standing out with Uki, and later we'll bring Belethir in. I imagine Bella will go in. Uki,
So
are you
the
staying
door
outside?
swings.
the door swings open and is caught on something, and listener has called you over. He says,
Like
I-
here?
I am a little too large to get in, and possibly could not lift it out of the way if I did. I think you could likely handle both.
Is it like swinging open like here?
Yeah,
Like that inward into the room, or
into
or
the room.
into this room, like this way?
No, into this room.
Okay. So this is where the doors open at, and this is the hinge over here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, she was.
you got it.
So can I see the heavy thing on the other side if I try to like wiggle in?
You can see it. It's actually wedged under the door. You can look at the under the door and see it.
I am loath to touch anything in this place. So we're gonna do this instead.
Lift it with psychokinesis,
We're
or yank it out.
gonna lightly and carefully and gently push it.
Push it into the room.
Yes.
All right.
As long as there is space and it doesn't hit anything. Like, because we're gonna go in anyway, so we can see what it is. when we get in there. There's no need to yank it out or potentially damage it.
So you push it, and it slides out easily enough with your ability. You're well strong enough to remove the item mentally. You push it out of the way across the floor. The door kind of swings open with the momentum of the item being yanked out from under it gently, revealing a small dining room. It has a large stone table, polished granite, and 4 polished granite chairs that sit around it. Once again, another one of the polished obsidian mantel pieces, hearths on the far end of the room there. Everything's still covered in the thick layer of dust. There is, however, as you peer into the darkness of the room, what appears to be an ivory-handled flintlock pistol laying on the table. It is completely clean. Not a speck of dust on it.
Okay, who's our gun person here? Uki! We had some weird... Okay, you're outside. Can
I'm inside now.
My character just...
I'm inside.
Uki's with it.
No splitting the party.
My character walks over.
We live together, we die together.
We have an odd situation with a gun in here. You seem to be the resident expert on firearms, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
It's weird because this room is really old, but that gun seems clean. Do you think you could help us examine the area? Because this whole place is giving me creepy vibes.
Well, certainly. Where's the gun?
It's on the
This
table.
way.
This table, right? Oh, there you go. Oh, I see it now. Yes.
Yep.
Not
gonna lie, I thought it was a banana.
200-year-old banana sitting on the table.
Which I've learned from very crucial courses that the average is 5 inches.
Oh my god.
Crucial courses.
I'm not letting that go.
No.
Crucial courses.
All right. So, the gun is sitting on the table.
Mm-hmm.
This is incredibly suspicious.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, something's going on. Poke.
Uki's gonna walk up and kind of look over. Not going to pick it up just yet.
All right. You see listener reaching over to touch it.
Yes, you may interrupt me if you desire.
Listener, you sure you want to do that? Remember, don't forget whenever we came across pitch, an issue we had with some other weapons.
Ah, yes, of course. I forget that they can do that sometimes. Yes, yeah. But please do conduct whatever examination you prefer first.
I'm sure
That is likely safer.
It's fine. I'm sure. Don't worry.
So I'm gonna take, I obviously have my tinker's tools, but I obviously have like some of my, part of that. One of the part I have is essentially like the, a few things that I use to clean my, my pistols.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to, including, a, rag, whatever. So I'm going to I'm going to examine this. I'm going to take one of my cloths and sort of just put it over the butt of the gun.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go actually draw it towards me to examine it. I'm not gonna pick it up yet.
All right, but you are moving it across the table.
I am moving across the table.
Okay.
Regrets, I have a few.
So right now it's listener and Uki in the room only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you begin to move the pistol, Genesis, are you standing in the doorway?
Don't.
Genesis is
You gotta do
Putting-
what you feel is right.
putting a toe in the doorway and just cringing and pulling back, just like I don't
Okay.
Well,
I
let's
don't want to
just-
go in there. I don't know what's keeping that so clean. That's scary. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen. So the gun is pointing towards the door.
Uncomfortable, because anything could pull the trigger, right?
So, as you
Cringe.
begin to move the gun,
Mhm.
two things happen.
Oh.
First off, the door slams shut with tremendous force. Genesis, you said you had your toe in the door. I know you're like kind of towing it to keep the door open, right?
No, I just meant like metaphorically,
Metaphorically.
right? Like
All right.
like
Well, give me a dex save to avoid getting smacked. How about that?
Bye bye, toe.
It's all right. You got 10.
rip.
It's all right. Don't worry. So the door hits you for 3 damage, really hard, kind of knocking you
Bonk.
back and dazing you for a second.
Nope.
Because it was unexpected. The sound of the door slamming reverberates through the house like a deafening just explosion of sound. And some of it because it was so silent beforehand, and some of it because the old stone just catches the sound so well. As this happens, and the two of you remaining in the room are a little, of course, jarred by the experience, I imagine. From over here in front of the window, you see the ashes from the fireplace begin to whip out and coalesce.
Sorry.
Just whirling in this dervish that begins to take shape and take form until it assumes an entire form, hovering in front of the window.
Oh
I'm
my.
gonna say that's a bad sign.
It is an ashen creature. Once again, still whipping around with just bits of ash and whatnot. Its face is this hollowed out, death-like visage of hollow eyes and drawn back lips revealing kind of weirdly jagged teeth. And it sits there just kind of watching you with these vacant eyes as you, I am assuming, stop moving.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't do a lot of moving on a normal day, anyways.
Genesis just moves back to the door, staggering slightly, holding their peace-bound mask in the place where it made impact with this door, like.
Smackety smack smack smack.
And so I just kind of turn to listener and go, yeah, let's get out of here.
Friend Uki, I suspect that we will not be allowed to in the very near future.
Well, then we better hurry up.
All right, let's roll them dice. Church, does it have a brain?
Are you trying to reach out to it?
May as well.
Okay. So you try to reach out to the creature. It's like nothing's there.
Yes. Uki,
Yes.
I'm afraid you'll be doing the talking here. Once again, we have found a creature that is simply not present, as far as I'm concerned.
Intriguing.
Yes, it hasn't really gone very well the last couple of times, so do be careful.
Okay, so I'm going to, as I'm back, I've backed away from, I've no on touching the gun, backing away Kind of move it over towards the door. And I'm gonna try to open the door. Cause come on.
That's what Uki would do.
Uki would be like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna at least try the door first to see if I can leave. Now, I'm not running for the door like, oh crap, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, carefully moving over, and I have my hands on my hips, just kind of, but then get to the door and try to open it.
So the creature just watches you, unmoving aside from the hovering and the shifting and shuffling of the ashes that whirl around her figure. You make your way to the door and kind of, nervously reach for the handle and realize the handle's not there. It crumbled to dust when Listener opened it.
Ah, yes, of course.
Oh, wow, okay.
There is no handle.
Yeah, Saoirse from her side is going to gently try and push open the door.
It does not budge.
So I'm going to turn to our new companion and say, do you mind if we leave?
She continues to just kind of stare at you blankly, watching, almost as if waiting.
Waiting. What is she waiting for? Hi.
The thing that we do not really want to do, but will probably have to do.
Listener?
Shall I?
Yes.
All right. Poke.
Who are you poking?
The gun.
Are you touching the gun again?
I'm touching the gun.
Okay. All right, so you reach out, and her eyes, vacant as they are, lock in on you, Listener, watching your hand intently. Even though there's no eyes there, you can feel the weight of this gaze just following you. You reach out and just poke it?
Yes, I just poke it for now. Get a finger on it.
As you come into contact with the gun, you see her face kind of contort. It's very hard to read, especially since you're not visually necessarily watching, and reading emotions is difficult anyway.
That's hard for me at the best of times. Easier
Uki,
over a mental connection, but that's not really possible here.
Yeah. Uki, you see the transition of her expression as well. And it's somewhere between anger and pain. You're not really sure which. And as his finger comes into contact with the gun, the ashes that are whirling around her become more erratic, and her form kind of shifts slightly and begins to move in this kind of jerking, twitching motion as she begins to drift closer to the table.
Well, I know that she's ashes and everything. Do we see, can we see that, well, essentially, can we see a wound as if bullet holes were, entered, that she was actually, was this gun possibly the reason for her demise?
Well, I guess we're about to find that out if Church gives us that information.
So
gives Listener that information.
Well, first off, Uki, to answer your question, seeing that her body is made of ash and it is shifting and kind of twitching right now, it's hard to make out a wound because pieces of ash will kind of fall away and then reform, and it's almost like she's not entirely solid to begin with. So finer details are kind of hard. There's no obvious gaping wound, right. And this is a fairly high caliber flintlock pistol. You have seen the wounds that these give. They make a small entry, large exit. You don't see anything like that obvious.
Okay.
I will say let me see here. With the limited psychometry.
Yes, I get muffled sounds, blurred images, emotions clearly, and the basic gist of whatever happened when it was last possessed.
Okay. Oof, this is a tough one.
It is. It's going to be a lot of interesting things happening.
And you're a spiritualist. This is going to get
Yes.
real interesting. So, first things first. I need you to make 2 saves.
I love making saves.
I need a con save first.
Okay. I'm gonna try. Not bad.
And an intelligence save.
Ooh, that's gonna be very exciting. Not bad.
Very good. The dice are with you.
We are rolling.
So, your entire figure rocks back as you come into contact and you open your mind to the memories of this object. It is a flood, a torrential flood of 100 different faces. Dwarven faces, human faces, Volrestad, Shaunakesian, just all of these faces standing in a similar place as you are right now, reaching for the gun. And the moment they come into contact with it, it's like they just disappear from existence. It's hard to fathom what's going on, and the emotions are overwhelming, and especially for you, not being really familiar, more so than you ever were before. Obviously, you're gaining familiarity, but it's horror, it's terror, it's pain, it's shock, it's awe, it's wonder, it's regret, just all at once flooding into you in this like rapid fire, just like torrent of images, until finally it hones in on the face of this very stately dwarf. And for just a moment, it's like the image pulls back through the gun and into his perspective, and you're staring down the barrel at this very elegant, very beautiful woman who very much resembles the creature before you. And as you snap out of your vision, listener, you are holding the pistol and aiming it at her.
Interesting. I look at it and I say, oh, that's very unusual. But, you see, I'm not really in the business of killing. Certainly not those already dead. I simply point it down.
Okay. Give me a will save.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's okay.
Alright, so you move to put the gun down, and your hand begins to shake. And although you are able to force your hand back down to the table and peel your fingers back, it took a gargantuan effort to do so. It was like your body was not responding. But the moment you let go of it, like your arm begins to tingle, and you kind of come back to yourself.
I flex it a few times. So, I think, kind of broadly, because listeners used to telepathic connections and not always entirely voluntary ones. So he has every suspicion to think that his mind is being tapped right now a little bit. Says, I would thank you not to. I am no longer an appendage. And typically, I only invite guests.
No response.
No response. I didn't really expect. Uki.
Yes, listener.
I would advise not touching the gun. This would seem, at least for the moment, to be the wisest course of action.
Duly noted.
Seems like it's gone on long enough. I'm gonna walk up to this closed door,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna make a wall hole in the door.
Okay.
I'm going to remind the world that actually I decide what happens around here.
Okay. So, as you pull out your tool, what tool are you using to do this?
My hand.
Okay. You're just etching it into the door with your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. As you do this...
Oh well, no. I suppose I've got my little hammer, my runic crosspeen hammer.
Okay. So, yeah, just kind of taking the hammer and...
Kind of like bonking it in special spots to make a little
I love it.
ting 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 ting.
All right. As you do this, this luminous, silvery blue, translucent energy begins to just form in wisps and tendrils, working to your will in this shining, like strange incandescence. And a door begins to form. You're opening a portal, right? That was your goal.
Yeah, I'm making a door through the door.
Through the door.
To go
So
the room on the other side of the door that we can't push open.
The shimmering light that begins to bend around you, like it's way different than what you're used to. It's this billowy, ethereal quality, and as it settles into the actual stone of the door itself, you can begin to see through it, and the tendrils begin to part slightly like a curtain, allowing you entry.
Excellent. I will gesture to
Uki and Listener?
yeah. Do you guys want out or do you want us in?
Oh, I'm on my way out.
I'm rather surprised that worked. I look back at the ashen woman. Do you mind if I... No? Very well.
She still doesn't say anything.
Then take it and run.
Oh, no, it's,
Okay, leave it then.
We'll come back. We'll come back. We'll think about this. We'll come back. Then I just walk out.
Okay. She makes no move to stop you or follow you. In fact, as you exit the room, you get the sense that her presence kind of settles once again. A lot of that swishing sound of the ashes of her form that you could hear begin to settle and quiet down and fade.
It's very unusual. Perhaps the next room might offer some more answers.
Oh.
Uki's curiosity gets the best. Uki's curiosity gets the best of her though, and she says, and no, she's not going back in there, but she's going to turn to Listener and say, What information did you get on that?
We are hardly the first to have come here and to stepped into that room. And it seems rather more common than not that they walk to the table, they pick up the gun, and that is the last of them. I believe it may have belonged to the original occupant of the house, and indeed been used to kill, well, the woman that is now that ashen wraith. Though it is a little ambiguous.
Mm.
More study is necessary here. Certainly
thank-
before trying the gun again.
Yes, thank you so much, listener, for your warning.
Oh yes, thank Az. Otherwise, we would have had to figure it
Oh.
out before we get to
yes,
leave.
yes. Oh, that's right. like Uki's still thinking about what was going on there. So, oh, yes. And as, thank you for the door. Thank you for getting the door.
I thought we. I thought Saoirse wanted to go in.
I wanted them out.
Oh. Okay. Well,
You
I
may
guess
be
it worked.
trying to
then.
come in, but we're going out. This is like water coming out of a sink. Sorry.
Do you still want the door?
You may allow it to subside for the
Alright.
moment, though we may require your talents to get into these other rooms without causing too much damage.
Sure. Yeah, I'll drop this one.
Okay.
Before we get too deep into it, midnight has rolled around.
It has.
Should we call it a day?
Up to you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I could use my sleep.
Okay. That's perfectly all right. I hope this has been entertaining so far.
We met a little guy. We met two whole little guys. It was great.
And a not so little woman.
Yeah, she's pretty tall, actually.
She's another one of my new ones. I hope you guys are having a good time, though. I've actually been.
Oh
looking,
no, it was great.
I've been looking forward to fleshing out Underhome. I am enjoying it. So, God, our gaming schedule is going to be insane. Obviously, coming
Yeah.
up. I don't think we have TOA Wednesday. I don't think we have Witchlight Thursday. Although check the Discord just to be sure. I think are we off coming up next weekend too?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we've got
Probably.
anything until.
The new year, because
Yeah.
next Saturday would be Christmas Eve, and the Saturday after that will be New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So we will actually be off 2 weeks running. So when we come back, it will be Sigil, I believe.
On the
Yes.
7th of January.
7th of January, which is great. It gives me more time to connive and plan and come up with stuff.
Space Hulk.
Space Hulk. Space Hulk is something I have been actively working on as well.
Bring me the horror specs.
The horror specs is, I'm very excited about the horror specs.
I too am very excited about the horror specs.
I am excited about destroying whatever the fuck it is that is exerting mental influence over everyone, because shit's awful.
Oh, I'm having so much fun with that. But yeah, so we will be back in a brand new year. I have very high hopes for the new year with all of our mutual creative projects, our cumulative narrative that has been going on for so many years. Guys, I cannot tell you how excited I am that we are coming to fruition on a project of this size. We're making our own game and getting to a point where we could potentially actually publish it. That's like a lifelong dream for me since I was 7 years old. I'm not going to say how long ago that was, but it's a long time ago. So I'm very excited. I love the direction things are going. I love that I've been able to make this journey with you guys. If I don't get a chance to talk to you before the new year, just in case everyone goes party crazy, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of our viewers. Happy New Year, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, whatever you don't celebrate, have a happy one no matter what it is. We here at Cairne and Sigil love you guys. We here at Featherfall love you guys, and we look forward to bringing you all kinds of exciting new things in 2023.
Indeed.
So, without much further ado, I bid you good evening.
Good night. Good year. Catch you in the next one.
Good
No,
night,
in the
everyone,
next
and happy
year.
holidays.
See you next year.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Good night.